it's worth looking down them and checking how straight they are, because a lot of this wood is a bit warped. That's right. And then we'll have another row under the top. Well, hello, welcome back to the new Tap Cave. You find me mid-think. I want to build a working height table in here. If you remember the shed where I used to work at the last place, I built a, what was it, 8 by 4 foot table, and it was so useful, so handy, but it was too low for me really. So I want to build this table at working height, about 1 meter high, and I figured out that that is roughly the height of 3 of these crates. So what I now want to do is build a table here that will accommodate underneath it 3 high crates. So crates stacked 3 high. And now I've been working out, I tried it with 4, so 4 wide, and it's just too big for this space. Let me get a wider angle. I tried it with 4, so it would be longer. And I don't want to restrict myself in here too much. Also, I need space to be able to drag these out. So I'm going to go with the final idea or design is 3 by 2. So there'll be a top on the table, obviously, and then a shelf, and then another shelf, and then the floor. So that means we will have storage underneath this table that I will be able to work on, do photography on for larger items. Sorry if I'm making you feel dizzy with all this moving around. And store 18 crates, so I can keep my void fill in them. I can keep stock for antiques fairs and stuff that's already packed up and ready to go. We can just store it in here out of the way. That's the plan. Oh, also I managed to locate the power lead for my Foldio, so now hopefully, I think it's still plugged in, at the flick of a switch we will, what is it in the background? We have lights, so I can now do pictures in there. The current thinking is I'm going to have that permanently set up like that, and then for larger stuff I'm just going to do pictures here. I have done a few recently underneath these LED lights, and there's more than ample light here. So yeah, that really nicely brightly lit corner in the Foldio for small stuff, big stuff on here. I am going to work out exactly what I need. I have the OSB board that I'm going to use for the top and the 2 layers, but I have run out of like supporting wood. I don't have enough left to do all of the legs, and I want to do supports going front to back as well. There'll be a lot of weight in this. So I need to get measuring, get working out, and then head off to B&Q, maybe tomorrow now, because it's getting a bit late, and buy all the wood I need. So I will update you once I get going with the build. I just watched that back. When I say working height, I mean to say standing height. I don't sit down to work anymore, and for a long time I have stood to work. So when I say working height, for me that's standing height. So the work surface at about 1 meter or just over 1 meter high. Right, outside B&Q with list of what I need. Basically I just need supporting wood for the legs, and I'm going to build 4 kind of frames, look like little ladders, and then the shelves will fit in those. I'll explain more later, but it works out. It's going to sound like a lot, but I need 21.5 meters of timber. Yeah, so hopefully they've got enough in B&Q. That one's a bit wonky. Falling over. It's worth looking down them and checking how straight they are, because a lot of this wood is a bit warped. That one's no good. 7. That's got a big split in it. That one's a bit like a banana. Right, now to get it all in the car. It should fit. With a bit of luck. It's in. So, there it is. Not ideal, but it's in. So that came to £40.37. They are 2 meters 40 in length. So I bought more than I need, but I needed, yeah, that's how it worked out. 11 lengths at 2.4 meters. So I'm going to get this home. I'm going to double check my plans and then start cutting this up. Now, a job we need to do before we can construct anything is to get these chipboard or OSB boards out. And unfortunately, they're now behind this floor to ceiling wall of stock. So we're going to dig them out, right? Yeah, fun times. Basically, all of this probably will have to move back in here to get the boards out. But
we don't need to go to the gym, do we?
No, but we do need to go through a lot of these to get more stock for the vintage fair we're doing soon, right?
Yeah.
Vintage fair, antiques market, what are we doing next?
Flea
market, right. Yeah, so that's next job, because the boards we need are in there. Right, so we've got to it. Now you may recognise this. This all came from the last tap shed. I thought we might as well bring it with us, cost of wood and everything. So we're going to use that. So these are the thinner sheets that I'm going to use for the 2 lower shelves. I do have another sheet, which is the really thick stuff that's going to be the top. But I need to get 2 of these out. I thought I'd film at this point where we've got one half in and half out. We've got crates in the way. It's like, what my analogy is, you know those little tile games where you move tiles around and try and make a picture? That's what our life has been like for the last 6-8 weeks.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've got 2 of these boards out. I only need 2 of these thinner boards for the 2 lower shelves. So actually we're putting this one back. We're going to leave 2 there. These, I think, long term are going to be used in the loft to board the loft.
We're going to get those up to the loft, are we? Are you going to chop them up?
I'm going to chop them in half because 2 foot wide strips will go through the loft hatch. I've worked all this out. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Right, so these are the two panels that we're going to use. They're going to be cut down quite significantly from that size. So here's my rough idea. So I'm going to create 4 of these little frames that look a bit like ladders, and they will go here, here, here and here, and then we'll have 2 shelves made from this thinner stuff, and there will be a top made of the thicker stuff, which is currently out the back. So my first job, which I haven't done yet, is to cut the 8 legs, the uprights. So I'm ready to start cutting the legs. I have just triple checked my measurements, and I'm going with 98 centimeters, which will accommodate 3 of these black lidded crates, plus 2 lots of a centimetre for the 2 lower shelves, and then the top is going to sit on top of the legs, so we don't have to worry about that. So 98 centimetres. That's also giving me a centimetre clearance above the crates where they slide in and out. Maybe I should give that a little bit more. No, I think that'll be fine. Centimetre clearance. I've gone backwards and forwards on these measurements. Yes, anyway, we need to just bite the bullet and go for it. 98 centimetres times 8. Trouble is, once I've cut them, I can't go back on that. I've got 4 legs cut, and I just wanted to check. So here we have 3 crates stacked up. They don't have the shelves in between, which would add 2 centimetres. But the legs come to there. So that difference at the top allows for the 2 shelves and a little bit of clearance to slide them in and out. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I think we can safely go and cut the rest of the legs. Okay, legs all cut. I've just laid out, to give you an idea of what I'm doing. I'm going to build 4 of these, although these cross members in the middle will actually be nearly 4 foot across. So that's what I'm constructing, which will create the frame for the table / storage unit. So my next task is to cut 12 more of these, which will be 4 foot to go front to back as the supports for all of the shelves and the top. 12 of those. So I've got to recalculate or double check my measurements again, because at the end I've got to take off the width of 2 of these uprights, 2 of the legs for the width. Yeah. Yes I do. That's what I'm doing. Yeah. At this point, I think it's worth saying what I usually say in my DIY kind of videos. This is not an instructional video. I'm not pretending I'm an expert at this sort of stuff. I'm a guy who likes to have a go and document what I'm doing, right? This is a how I did it video, not necessarily a how you should do it video. I'm sure there are better ways. This is what I came up with. That's how I'm doing it. Just putting it out there. I'm not an expert. Right, so we have all of the cross beams cut. I've laid out the first section. So I'm making 4 of these, and then we will have to cut the boards down to size. We'll have to put some notches along the edges. But yeah, we are seeing progress. So now I'm going to carefully measure where I want these to be fixed. I've decided I was going to screw from the end with great long screws. I'm going to use these little angle pieces instead. In there like that. I may yet put a large screw through the end, but I'm going to put it together with these. I think that will be quicker and easier, at least for me to get a kind of first fix on it. So I don't actually quite have enough. So if I am going to use these to do the whole thing, I'll have to go and buy some more. That's the current plan. As you can see, my plans tend to evolve over time. Yeah, so now, right, let me get screw in. I'm going to screw it all together. Talking about plans evolving as you go, I've just realised if I were to make all 4 of these, there'd be no way for me to get the 2 lower shelves in. I'd have to take them apart again. I can construct the 2 end ones because they just kind of slot on the ends. The middle 2, I'll have to perhaps construct it with the lower one, put the shelf in place, and then add this one, put the shelf in place, and then add the top one. Yeah, I think. Okay, so I've nearly finished, just got 2 more screws to put in. And then we have the first of 4 of these frame pieces. There we go. So if all of my calculations are correct, once we have a shelf here, there will be clearance for, they'll actually slide in this way. There'll be clearance for a crate below there. Then crates will sit on this shelf, slide in here in between these uprights and have clearance here. And there will be enough room on the top shelf for a crate in there, sliding in again this way, back to back, 2 on each, 2 in each slot, 9 one side, 9 the other, back to back. Yeah. Right, I'll build the other 3 of these. Well, no, I'll build the other end and I will start building the middle 2, because if I construct them, I can't get the shelves in. Use your brain, Nick. Yes. Right, sometime later now, I have just got the first of the boards down. This will be the lower shelf. And I have marked it, you probably can't see, but I've marked where I need to cut it. Roughly there is where it's going to come to. So it's a relatively small kind of island, nowhere near the size of the table I had in the last place. This room here just wouldn't take a table that size, and I want plenty of room around the sides to move, and we've got doors that open into this space. I want to put shelves up, and so we've gone relatively small. So I'm going to get that cut. I might as well cut the other shelf while I'm at it. Then it's a case of working out where the notches are going to go for the legs. And then I guess we can kind of do a first fix putting it together. The last thing to do will be the top, which is a thicker gauge of board. And yeah, that will finish it off. Right, I'll go and get set up and cut this one. Job done. Okay, so what we need to do next is just mark where I need to cut out some notches where the legs are going to come up through. So there's going to be 1 in each corner and then 2 more. And I'm going to have to measure these ones accurately, which I will mark, get all those cut out, and then we'll see if it all goes together. Right, so that should be the size of the leg. Ta-da! Now when it comes to these ones, the way I'm getting these out is I've cut 3 cuts in up to the line, and then literally just snapping these off, and then I will go in and tidy up after. So I'll just get the saw and tidy up that edge. Right, so I've roughly tidied up that edge. Job done. Right, so all of the notches where the legs are going to come up through are done. So that is the bottom shelf. Okay, it's the end of the day. We've just done our Sunday live stream, and I've just put together the board you saw me cut. So that gives you an idea of the size. We've just tried it out with this crate, if you want to show how that works. So there we go. So there's going to be 3 there, and then there'll be another 6. Well, there'll be 6 below, 6 on here, another shelf, 6 here, and then a top. And that's the size of it. Looks quite odd, doesn't it? With no top on or anything.
It's like a stage or something.
Yeah. But I'm very happy with that. There is enough clearance and tolerance for the crate to go in. So, yeah, shouldn't have any problem. So it'll be tomorrow, maybe even Tuesday. Tomorrow's going to be a busy day before I get this finished. So, right, I'll see you in this video another day. Say ta-ra.
Bye.
It is now Monday. I've just finished packing the few orders we had. You may have seen a video where I explained we had a pretty terrible weekend of orders. But anyway, I picked and packed the few we had, and now I'm back on it. I put this on top of here temporarily to pack orders on. Now I am marking up this one ready to cut it. So this will be the middle shelf to go across here. So we are going to cut, I don't know if you can see, we're going to cut this line, and then I've been marking off where the notches are for the legs. So I'll get busy, I'll get all of that done and come back to you, and you can see us trying to fit. I'll probably have to get Andrea to help me with this because I don't have enough arms and hands. But it was quite a struggle to get that one in place. So once I've got this cut, I'll come back to you and you can watch us trying to get this shelf arranged around all of these legs and slotted in where it's going to be. Yeah, I'll see you in a bit. Come on, that's it. Okay, so we go over the top. Put this side in first underneath those. This is what we need, extra pairs of arms and legs. Oh, no, no, no. No. Right, somewhere there. Oh yeah, I haven't secured that one, have I, on that side? This one here isn't actually attached yet. Right, so that's that. So we haven't got the ends on yet. But those will just slot on to the end, like so. And then I'm just going to cut the top. But moment of truth, while I've got you, the clearance here for crates. Ta-da! And then we'll have another row under the top. And of course, some at the bottom. Yay! Is that cheesy? Right, so I've fixed this shelf through it in place. The bottom one's already done. I can now put the ends on. Like that. And we can fix that in place. And then we'll need to do the same on this end. And then let's just measure and cut the thicker board for the top. And I'm going to extend it a little bit over here because I'm going to have a couple of panels on the end so I can screw into the end of these boards, tie all of that in and stop it being able to wobble sideways. Yeah, we are getting there. We're very, very close. Soon I'll have a great big packing table and a table to dump stuff on and sort it. What I've learned over the years is you can never have enough work surfaces in an office if you're in this line of work, right? Constantly stuff coming in, needing to be cleaned, sorted, photographed. Right, I'd better crack on. Right, I can now get the last two of these sporting pieces in because I have fitted the last few brackets. Right, so that'll have to pull in a bit there. Right, we have the top cut. So get that in place. Something like that. These will pull in. There we go. So it's going to be roughly like that with a tiny overhang on the ends because I am putting some little panels to tie all of that in on the ends. But that's going to be it. That's going to be my table for packing, for sorting and all that stuff, with easy to hand crates with packing supplies, void fill and all of that in, and probably stock as well. Yeah, just end panels and finishing off, screwing it all together, and we will be done. Then I can dedicate my time to listing, actually working my way through this entire room, most of which is still not listed. So follow along if you're new here. My name's Nick. I sell stuff on the internet. Here's the stuff. And over the next few months, I really need to get cracking. I need to make a dent in this lot. So drop me a message below. What do you make of my new piece of office furniture? I'm quite happy so far. Yeah, pleased with that. If you'd like to watch another DIY style video, check me out up there, building stuff. I'll see you there in a sec. Ta-ra!